Good morning, everybody. I'm just running a little late here. It's Saturday morning, um, and I thought I'd go come live with you for a little bit today on YouTube. Um, Most of you know that I was incarcerated, and I'm also listed as a sex offender. And it's a shameful title, you know, because you'll be convicted of stuff a lot of times that you didn't do. You're guilty of a crime, but not guilty of what the conviction was. I'm just going to briefly go over mine. It's not, it's something that I don't need to share with people, but I'm going to. My case was all, from the age of 13 is when I first got in trouble. But let me start off by saying this. I was a victim of sexual abuse as a child. And that was about 7 or 8 years old. But around the age of 13, I started exposing myself to other kids the same age. And as I got older, just continued and continued. Never no physical contact of any sorts. Um, but finally, the judge in one of the cities dropped the charge and said, go into counseling. I was 18, I think, at that time, which I was doing. And then I get like an indictment. I think it was like 90 days later or 6 months later that says you're being indicted for kidnapping. Well, I never laid a hand on anyone. I never kidnapped anyone. And they knew that. Um, but other people were behind that. But what I'd like to say is, you know, it's a difficult label to live with. The harassment, the embarrassment you put on your family, um, and the embarrassment you put on yourself. Really, I mean, I've been threatened. I've been harassed. Uh, you know, and it's going to continue. But we need to quit labeling people for something that happened 35, 40 years ago. Mine was 35 years ago, guys. And, I've stayed out of trouble then. I've been out, since January 24th, 2010. I haven't gotten in any trouble. I've tried to work towards helping others with some great people. Um, I remember Amy Wicks telling me that my past doesn't define who I am today. And myself and Amy was really close. And I was the first president of her group in the name of justice. But we used to have a lot of talks on how people are, how people react. One of the people that was harassing me in Parma, he was a very wealthy man. He funded the protests and so forth, ended up getting in trouble, um, shortly after that for some kind of sexual harassment or something like that. I'm not going to mention any names of any sort, but it is so easy for any of us just to go out there and look in the paper and say, look, that guy committed something worse than me or worse than you or whatever. And then we could bash them. But if we would go around sitting and just talking negative about people, we're no better than the ones that were harassing us. Sometimes you lose friends, because, they want your full details of your past. And now I was told one time, it's nobody's business. No, I don't need to tell everybody. And, you know, sometimes I do, and sometimes I get turned down from things because I'm just honest up front. Sorry, my throat's a little bit dry today. So this is something we need to get over the stigma. How people are going to treat us, how we're going to react to being treated this way. Um, are we going to sit there and feel sorry for ourselves? I choose not to. Yeah, I feel bad a lot of the times, but feeling sorry for yourself is not going to change what happened 35, 40 years ago. You know, but you need to pull yourself together and become stronger and keep working on yourself so you can become a better person. when we were locked up, they have so many different programs you could take. They have the sex offenders program, which they said I did not qualify for, so I was not allowed to take it. They have recovery services there. Um, Victims awareness, which was my favorite program, and some other programs. We had a case manager up in Marion that would come into one of the classes she taught, which was thinking for a change. She'll put the sign up sheet on there and say sign it. Then she's as soon as we sign it, she says dismiss, and she would walk away and go back to her office. These are the people that we're paying, to run these programs, to help our people overcome their difficulties. And when they do something like that, I have no respect for them because they're taking the state's money and not doing their job. We've reported this to the ODRC over the years to no, nothing has ever been done. And the number one goal that any of us should really focus on is no new victims, because we have to have compassion for the victims. They went through an ordeal. And so we cannot forget the victims. I'm really close to a person that became a victim, and I never looked at anything from the victim's standpoint until that happened. And I don't like that. I don't like what she went through. I remember the night when I received the phone call with what happened, how horrified I was. So we also have to pray for the victims, the person that's incarcerated, and let's just break the cycle. So many of the times, people that's in for different sexual offenses, they were victims, then they victimized, then they victimized. And we got to break the cycle. We got to quit condemning. You act out what you learn. Right or wrong, you're going to act it out. Personally, I think when you get released from prison, and you should not do more than what you're supposed to be doing. I don't care what the crime was, but I suggest, and this is only my suggestion, that sex offenders go through counseling at least 2 years and then possibly more. Same thing with drug offenders, people from murder, maybe anger management. That's something what they think that they need. But we need a cut down recidivism rate in half. We're not that high in Ohio, but we still can do better. We can do better with teaching the way the classes are taught. They need to have a better reentry program now. A lot of the other stuff was shut down, I think, last year or the year before for the reentry. But at one time, they used to have Pigway Correctional Camp. That was the reentry prison where you would go there when you're getting close to going home. Morris is over here scoping out the area. Now, there's a lot of things that we just need to really work on. And things will never change if we don't start getting some support. People writing letters, people making phone calls, people sending out emails, and saying, why can't you get the programs better? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Another thing that I have passion about is pro reform. Then somebody yesterday brought up the thing about state pay in one of the video conferences we did. And he's correct. I think the last time was 79 that they got a raise. And it's back then it was like a penny a minute, a penny an hour. Now I think it might be 15, 18 cents an hour. But they make the products. They do a lot of products for Walmart. But then if you go for Walmart after you get released and ask them for a job at Whitehall or at Great Southern, they'll say no, they will not hire you. But then when you call National Walmart, they said they hire felons. But these stores out here will not. So we need to start contacting these businesses all at once. All of us need to do this on a regular basis. Walmart, Kroger's, and say, why can't you hire felons? If they're sex offenders, maybe put them in the warehouse. Um, um, or depending what the crime is on where you can work. So I'd like to see some changes done with employment. We need to get these people decent jobs. You cannot survive on $10 an hour, pay rent, utilities, a phone bill. It's impossible. Um, that's why so many people are homeless. In Ohio, the ODRC is releasing people homeless. When you release people homeless and they have no place to live, they're going to go right back to what they know best, just to survive. Some won't, but a lot will. You don't want a drug offender to be released in the bad part of town, where all the drugs are all over the place, and stay clean. Report to your parole officer or probation officer, depending if they're on probation. It's not that easy, and it's not going to work. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to give me a call at 380-799-3868. We would like to form a little committee to try to raise the state pay for the people, but that has to go through legislation. And I'm asking you to please join us in that force. My friend and CJ is going to be working on that and hopefully being able to recruit others to help us out. And you could also send me an email at cronenbergerjd@gmail.com. All small letters, KRONENBERJD@gmail.com. And I will respond back to you once you send the email. Let's start getting something done, guys. I'm not advocating like I did before, but there's some things that work that need to be done. So we need other people to step up and fight the good fight with us. I expect the work Lindsay Claire has started to do. She's on fire. Right now she's taking a little break. I don't know too many of the groups anymore in Ohio. When I got out, I became the president of Ohio Cure. At that time, that was the only group around. Then Fair Treatment and Reform and Reentry came. That was the first group in the state of Ohio that did pro-reform, and the second in the nation that worked on pro-reform. And we were so close to getting something done. We had a sponsor and everything. So this time, let's not back down. No matter what, if we believe in something, if we believe in people, we need to continue to go forward and fight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember to pray for those who are incarcerated, nursing homes, hospitals, and the homeless. We all need prayer. We all need hope. We all need God. So let's get things done, everybody. And I appreciate everyone around. Thank you, YouTube. And I appreciate you. Again, my email is cronenbergerjd@gmail.com. It's KRONENBERGERJD@gmail.com. Please share this video and subscribe to our channel here, James Cronenberger, and let's start promoting the cause. What needs to get done? Thank you.